You think you know hell. You don't. There's a place where the ground literally melts beneath your feet at noon, and by midnight your blood would freeze solid in your veins. A place where the sun doesn't just rise, it stutters, reverses, and plays tricks with reality itself. This isn't science fiction. This is Mercury, and what happened to this world is more terrifying than anything Hollywood could dream up. Right now, as you watch this, a tortured sphere of iron is screaming through space at 47 kilometers per second. That's fast enough to cross the United States in less than 3 minutes. It's running for its life because if it slows down even slightly, the sun will devour it whole. But here's what'll break your brain. While Mercury tears through space faster than anything else in our solar system, it rotates so painfully slow that watching a sunrise here would take you 88 Earth days. Yes, you heard that right. The sun rises, crawls across the sky for 3 months, and finally sets after 176 Earth days total. One day on Mercury is literally twice as long as its entire year. Let me paint you a picture. You're standing on the cracked, gray surface. You look up and what you see isn't the sun you know. It's a bloated monster, 3 times bigger, 7 times brighter, burning in a pitch-black sky. There's no blue, no atmosphere, just you and the void and that thing. And then it happens. You keep watching, unable to look away despite the radiation cooking through your visor. The sun stops moving. It hangs there, frozen. Then it moves backward, then forward again, like the universe is glitching. This isn't a hallucination, it's real. Mercury's orbit is so stretched, so warped by the sun's gravity, that from the surface you'd witness the impossible, a sun that dances, hesitates, plays games with the very fabric of space-time. But you wouldn't be alive to see it, because by this point, you'd already be dead. At high noon, the temperature beneath your boots reaches 430 degrees Celsius. That's hot enough to melt lead into liquid, hot enough to vaporize zinc. Your spacesuit would combust, your bones would char, the rock itself glows red. Then the sun sets, and this is where Mercury reveals its true cruelty. With no atmosphere to hold the heat, the temperature doesn't gradually drop, it plummets. Within hours, you go from an oven to a cryogenic nightmare. The thermometer crashes to minus 180 degrees Celsius, a 610-degree swing, the most extreme temperature variation in the entire solar system. Your frozen corpse would crack like glass. But wait, there's something hiding in the darkness. Deep inside craters at Mercury's poles, in shadows so deep that sunlight hasn't touched them in billions of years, scientists found something that shouldn't exist. Ice. Massive deposits of water ice, just kilometers away from the most scorched real estate in the solar system. Fire and ice, coexisting on the same world. It's beautiful. It's impossible. It's Mercury. But none of this explains the real mystery. Why is this planet so absurdly heavy? Mercury is small, only slightly bigger than our moon. But when you measure its mass, nothing adds up. It's dense, impossibly dense, like dropping a cannonball next to a beach ball. When scientists calculated what's inside, they discovered something shocking. Mercury has a core of pure iron that makes up 85% of its entire volume. The rocky crust you see? That's just a thin shell, barely holding together this metal beast. Earth's core is only 30% of our planet. Mars, about 50%. But 85%? That's not normal. That's not natural. So what happened? Scientists believe that billions of years ago, Mercury was normal. It was roughly twice its current size, with a thick crust and mantle like Earth or Venus, a perfectly ordinary rocky planet minding its own business in the early solar system. Then came the Wanderer. A rogue planet, maybe the size of Mars, came screaming out of the darkness. The collision was apocalyptic. The impact was so violent, so catastrophic, that it didn't just crater Mercury, it skinned it alive. The entire outer layer of the planet, the crust, the mantle, was blasted into space, vaporized, gone. What was left behind wasn't a planet, it was a wound. A naked iron core bleeding into the void, exposed and dying. Mercury isn't a complete world. It's the leftover skeleton of a murder victim. And the trauma never ended, because that massive iron core is still cooling. Slowly, over billions of years, it's contracting, shrinking. And when iron the size of a small planet shrinks, something has to give. Picture a grape shriveling into a raisin. That's Mercury. The surface is crumpling inward like tinfoil. Massive cliffs called thrust faults are tearing across the landscape, some 3 kilometers high. Jagged walls of rock thrust upward as the planet crushes itself from within. This isn't a dead world. Dead would be peaceful. Mercury is dying. It's convulsing, shrinking into an ever tighter iron prison, and it will continue shrinking for billions of years more. You'd think visiting such a hellscape would be easy. I mean, just point your rocket at the sun and fall, right? Wrong. Getting to Mercury is one of the most difficult journeys in the entire solar system. Counterintuitively, it takes more energy to reach Mercury than it does to reach Pluto. Why? Because you're not fighting distance, you're fighting the sun's monstrous gravity. Every kilometer closer requires burning more fuel, slowing down harder, fighting forces that want to slingshot you into the sun itself. Only 2 spacecraft have ever successfully orbited this world, Mariner 10 and Messenger. They sent back images that still haunt scientists, landscapes of ancient violence, craters named after humanity's greatest artists, Beethoven, Shakespeare, Van Gogh, eternally scorched. But even robots can't survive forever here. In 2015, after years of groundbreaking science, Messenger ran out of fuel. NASA made the decision, let it fall. The probe slammed into Mercury's surface at 14,000 kilometers per hour, creating a new crater, a grave marker, one final scar on a world already covered in them. Mercury will outlast us all. Long after Earth is gone, long after the sun swells into a red giant and consumes the inner planets, Mercury might be the last witness, a sphere of iron and silence, where days last longer than years, where ice exists next to fire, where the sun performs its backward dance for an audience of no one. It's the smallest planet in our solar system, the forgotten one, the runt. But it has stared into the face of our star for over 4 billion years without blinking, and it's still there, racing through the darkness, refusing to die.